Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Boyer, and I just wanted to take a couple minutes to review the template for your guided inquiry unit. Of course, the template is sent to you as a Google Doc, and you can, of course, please first make a copy of the template. Don't write on the original version. And you can convert it over into Word, copy it wherever you'd like. Probably Word would be the easiest to upload for your final assignment. And also it's a format that you can hang on to and reuse, of course. So I'd be okay if you do it as Word or if you'd want to keep it as a Google Doc. Just be sure that you make a copy and don't write on the original. The information for your title page is right here. And then starting on the next page, we'd like you to begin with your library mission statement. Now, I know you talk about mission statements in a lot of the courses here at Rutgers. We didn't specifically talk about it here, but it's always good to give a thought to what exactly would be the mission of your school library. And I'll just share with you as an example, this is our current library mission statement: to equip students with high-quality resources, research tools, and inquiry skills needed to move them forward as lifelong agile learners. So that's the mission statement for my library. That appears just about on everything that we do at our school. But your mission statement can, of course, be exactly what you want it to be. Then we need to see the title of your guided inquiry unit, what school level it will be in. Is it elementary, middle school, high school? Who are your target learners? So you'd specify a grade level here or any other details you'd want to give us. List then the members of your guided inquiry collaborative team. So it could be if you are already working in a school and you'd want to list a specific person, you could do that, or you could simply say the science teachers, or the science teachers and the language arts teachers, depending on how many collaborative team members you're going to have. You can just list them again here because you'll specify the roles more specifically in the individual lessons. After you list the members, then you'll want to give us your core curriculum standards, whether they are Common Core, the New Jersey State, or any other state standards that you are meeting. And so for easy reference, please list them in a table like the example here, where you would give whatever code or label is given to the particular standard and then exactly what that standard is. Beneath that, I'd like you to list the AASL standards, also set up as a table, please, exactly like the previous example. Please read the note regarding the standards, and that you only include standards that the unit explicitly addresses. So sometimes it's really tempting to throw in everything but the kitchen sink, and because you may touch upon those other standards, but if the connection is only tenuous, please don't list it. Only list those specific standards that you can prove you are going to be measuring and instructing in this unit. And you can see my little note there that if you are ever being observed, your principal will call you out on this in an evaluation. So I will be looking closely to see that every standard is listed that can connect to an objective, an activity, or an assessment. If you can't connect the standard, please don't list it. After that, you will have space to list your specific goals and objectives for the overarching unit, the whole unit, and then tell us about the final summative assessment. So most of these as inquiry projects will have some type of product that the student is creating rather than a test or another type of traditional summative assessment. So please tell us what the summative assessment is. If it's a written paper, is it a movie, etc. Anything that you can imagine can be listed there. Next, we ask you for the timetable of the overall unit. Please keep in mind the age of the students you're working with, the topic itself, and how much class time potentially your team partners would be willing to give up for the guided inquiry unit. So it's really important that you are able to be realistic in your timetable. Sometimes we have really grandiose plans and they're fabulous, but it would mean that kids would have to be with us for 3 weeks solid to achieve them. So when you're thinking about the scope of your project, it's really important to have a realistic timetable in mind. So for example, would your project span 2 weeks with the kids working on the project for 45 minutes each day, that type of thing. So we have an accurate idea of how much time you're spending. Then we ask you for the team evaluation of this unit. And hopefully you can include at least 2 possible action research tools. In other words, when it's all said and done and the assessments are collected and they're evaluated, how will you as a team step back and prove whether or not this was successful or not? What kind of measurements will you be taking or looking at to see how successful you've been? And once you have that proof, how are you going to share the results and provide evidence of what you've done with your principal, for example, or even potentially other colleagues so that you could entice them to also do a collaborative unit with you? So after you've given us all that info about the main guided inquiry project, it's time to get into the specific lessons. And here I have given you a handy little table that I hope you will just copy and paste into your document 4 times, because you're doing 4 lessons, of course, and you will simply follow this format. And if you keep it this way, it will be very easy for me to see and for you to see that you are indeed connecting your objectives and your activities and your assessments and standards very well. So each lesson asks you for the title or specific topic of that lesson, which guided inquiry phase this lesson would fall into, and what ISP stages your learners would be at. It asks you for the specific learning objectives for this lesson, what content, in other words, what's getting presented here and how, what authentic learning activities are the kids going to be doing, and what resources are you using. And I have a little note there showing you the format that we would prefer you use when you're listing your resources. So you can follow this direction right here. Then we need to know, what is your formative assessment for this activity? How are you going to measure whether the learners are with you? Are they comprehending? Are they capable of doing whatever skill you're showing, and so on? Then what potential interventions, helps, or scaffolds would you be providing? Do you have graphic organizers? Or if you see after your formative assessment, the students really did not understand how to use a resource, what kind of interventions would you have there to help the students catch up or keep up? And then what are the team roles? What are you doing as the librarian, and what is the teacher doing for this particular lesson? At the end of each lesson, please include whatever worksheets, handouts, graphic organizers, anything that you have described using, please include a sample of that. After you have given us all 4 lessons, then include a final page of references, please, in APA 6. Please also be sure that you have included citations to anything that you have used that is not your original work. So, for example, if you are borrowing a sample concept map from Kathy Schrock, make sure it has a citation on it and that it also appears in your final references. Okay, I think that's everything. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate. Reach out to me via email, and we could certainly set up a one-on-one Hangout conference to help answer any remaining questions you might have. Thanks, and I can't wait to see your projects.